yesterday, James Gunn kind of teased that he'd want to do a Lobo project. Lobo is outrageous. He kills everything. He's been kicked out of heaven and hell. And don't fuck with dolphins because he likes dolphins.
Isn't he? No, I forget which way around it is. Was it Kiss took some inspiration off him, or did he take inspiration off Kiss? I forget. Because he's got that look.
He came after Kiss by the looks of it.
Okay, so I think it was the artist kind of took a bit of flavor.
I think there was a bit of inspiration of like 80s.
Yeah, and that flavor of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, a Lobo project would be very cool, but it's widely been known that Jason Momoa is a massive Lobo fan.
Yeah, and that's his dream project, right?
Yeah. So everyone's kind of going, if the DC's going to get a reshuffle anyway, does Jason Momoa leave Aquaman and become Lobo?
Well, so we talked about, obviously, last week about what James Gunn's DC EU would look like. And one thing we talked about was Aquaman, and we both agreed that Jason Momoa plays Aquaman great.
Phenomenally, yeah. Very good.
We also don't really know what's going to happen with Aquaman. So, for all we know, Flashpoint and whatever happens in that, or in an Aquaman 2, whenever the fuck we get these films, it might just be a case of like James Gunn decides all of it's getting wiped. He doesn't want to use Aquaman going forward because it's too, like, that shit gets too complicated to try and tie in how he wants to tie in, or it doesn't fit into his idea. But I would imagine James Gunn, probably similar to us, thinks he was great Aquaman. He'd love probably to have Jason Momoa still in the DCU, and maybe they do a Lobo, and that's how he keeps Jason Momoa in his DCU, but not necessarily have to keep him as Aquaman. I think that would be pretty cool if he does.
It's a really tricky one. I would be okay. Bearing in mind we already said that James Gunn tends to thrive off the wacky. I'd be down for him to make Jason Momoa Lobo, and then go for a more traditional Aquaman, like very over the top, and I talk like this, and adventure. I'd actually kind of be, I'd be kind of down for that.
I think they should get Greta Thunberg to play.
But it's a tricky one. This whole thing we talked about of if they're not going to do a full reset, it's going to be very difficult for some fans to understand what does and doesn't count. This would be one of them things that would make it even more difficult.
It would. I think the only thing is, I feel if they did do this, in a way, it also kind of makes it a bit more clear, because if you're going to recast Jason Momoa as someone else, it kind of goes, okay, Aquaman's scrapped because he's now this character. Like, there's zero chance he's going to play both. So,
there is also the issue of Lobo has to be an R-rated film.
Okay.
If you don't make him R-rated, that film is going to set new records for lack of tickets sold.
Will it beat Morbius, though?
Yes. No. Out of pure spite, it will.
Oh, okay.
Because Lobo's the kind of character that people who would normally go and watch any kind of superhero film will look at that, if they're aware of Lobo, and go, I'm sorry, what? PG-13? For Lobo? No.
It could be, though, that this James Gunn might want to bring R-rated films into the...
I'm down. Like they did the Batman, what was that rated?
That
avoided an R rating.
Yeah, I think just...
It wasn't PG-13, was it?
That might have been a 15.
But
yeah, so...
The Batman rating.
Because you've also got to look at the fact that James Gunn's been involved with the MCU. He's seen how successful...
Oh, no, it was a PG-13.
Oh, okay. Like, James Gunn saw kind of how well-received Deadpool was in an R-rated film. He could very
So,
easily go to DC and be like, "Look, R-rated films work.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, Deadpool needed to be an adult
R-rated,
film.
yeah."
Lobo needs to be even more so.
So
There is a way, although it would take a lot of very good skill, where you can make Deadpool as a PG-13 work with like him being like bleaked every time he goes to swear and him getting more and more infuriated by it and stuff like that.
yeah,
With Lobo, you just have to let him run and not interfere. And I don't know if Warner Brothers slash DC have that in them.
I wonder though if they're giving him a lot more of the reins on creative freedom, which it sounds like they are going to be. He could pitch it in a way of being like, "Look, I've been at MCU. Deadpool had to be R-rated because of the character, and it worked perfect. It worked great. Look, I'd love to do a Lobo, but it has to be an R-rated film," and then like sells it that way. I think it
Well,
could be very
it, it
cool.
it could be a case of he's already kind of got permission for it, or he doesn't need permission. They've told him it's his to run as he sees fit, and this is his way of announcing to the world that DC is changing. He's
Yeah,
like, okay, what's the best way to let everyone know that we are changing our direction? Lobo film.
yeah. No, like it would very much set a new kind of like precedent. Like, oh shit, okay, DC is going a new way with this.
Yeah, they've just had a pretty. Don't get me wrong. I know the Rock film, Black Adam,
Mm-hmm.
was
The Rock
still
film.
rated 12, but it was pretty fucking brutal for a 12. Like they didn't
Yeah, it
hold back
was.
on the action too much. So if they want to just go all in on that, like they can make it work.
Yeah, they can.
But it'll be very interesting to see because I can't think of any other actor who'd work as Lobo. Let me just
Um,
Google Lobo fan cast and see what people reckon.
Lobo fan cast. No, I
Okay,
can't.
so the first picture that comes up is Lobo in the middle. We have Terry Crews, that Mark Wahlberg, The Rock, and Rob Gronkowski, former New England Patriot tight end.
Oh,
So like, there's not a lot. Like, it's just a lot of muscle mass.
I am seeing.
Oh,
I've
Roman
googled it
Reigns
as
is the
well.
fan cast.
There's Norman Reedus as one.
He's very skinny
Yeah,
for Lobo,
he'd have to bulk the fuck up.
and also
Same
the
with
rumors of him being Ghost Rider are
yeah,
getting stronger by the day.
same as Kim Coates. I'm seeing on here as well,
Yeah.
who also would have to bulk up. But you also have to remember superhero gym sessions.
Steroids.
Those actors get bulked very quickly. So
Yeah, steroids help with that.
yeah, there's a few options, but I actually do agree. I think just for pure like off how actors look now, Jason Momoa actually fits it very well.
Yes, he really does. I
And
believe when it first leaked that Jason Momoa was auditioning for a DC role, a lot of
people,
people assumed it was a Lobo film.
he's also like Jason Momoa is fucking crazy. Like IRL, like the energy. I've watched. I follow him on socials and stuff, and he has like a YouTube channel. He does biking stuff and all that. But like his energy is like very like fucking chaos.
Yeah.
So be interesting to
But it'll
see.
be interesting to see how that pans out and what other weird stuff James Gunn's just going to tease on Twitter just to wind people up now that he's got all this power.
Oh yeah, that's the thing now. He's gonna just farm impressions if he wants to.
Let's remember James Gunn does love a Twitter troll. And he's not going to stop that just because he has a very important job now.
Has he got an official tag though?
No one does anymore. They got rid of them. Sorry, they lasted 3 whole minutes. We did have one. We did have one, guys. Honest,
Yeah.
they just disappeared too quick. Don't ask questions.